once you can look back over your life and think about all of the things that you apologized for that you shouldn't have, that's where a lot of growth starts to happen, where you start to go, I have no fucks left to give. You can be kind and also take no shit.
Hello, Jazz.
Hello, Emily.
My internet friend, Jazz.
Am I allowed to call you Emily? Am I allowed to out your name on this podcast?
Can't believe you just said my full government name. Are you trying to dox me?
I can, you can cut that. That's the beauty of podcasting.
No, I guess I'll leave it. I guess I'll just sprinkle in some secrets of my true identity. That's fine. I'll never be able to be a spy now. But
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But honestly, I forgot. I was so excited to see your face because we get to talk in real time. It's the moments are so few and far between. And you're just like my internet bestie that I get to see maybe like twice a year at a festival.
I know it's so sad. And then we're both usually really busy doing whatever we have to do. Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
okay. We have our time now. And
That's
I'm excited to
right.
talk to you because you're so fucking talented, dude. You have so many hats. You wear all of
Oh,
them.
the head is heavy.
The head is heavy.
There.
Comedian, writer, producer, songstress, and social media star.
Oh
Can
my
you do
God,
anything
thank
besides
you.
eat dairy?
Yeah, eating dairy is my big weakness. I can't eat dairy and I cannot control my very anxious dog. I'm a new dog mom and the boy is so needy. But you know what? We've who hasn't had a super needy boy in their life before? We can handle it.
Exactly. Preach. What's its name and what breed is it?
His name is Jeff. He's an Australian shepherd.
Did you name him Jeff or did he come as Jeff?
He came as Jeff. I had no hand in that. So
Oh.
let me just take a second and, like, give him something so he doesn't actually do this the entire time.
When did you get him? I need this full story about Jeff.
My God. Well, I'm also like, do I reveal that I have a boyfriend? Because that seems like one of the cardinal sins of being on the internet is like, if she's not single, we're not following her, which is gross, but is also a thing. I just moved in with my boyfriend and he came with a Jeff. And so now I have a
Ah.
Jeff.
And
And
now you have a
so
Jeff. It is your
now I
Jeff.
have a Jeff. He's my Jeff, and I love him. I do love him, but, I'm a busy woman, as you said, I wear a lot of hats, and so I'm just like, "Oh, the night walks? No, thank you. That can be your," he doesn't expect me to be a full-time parent, which is good because, as you said, I'm busy. I've got
Yeah.
a lot going on.
In this day and age, you have to be able to split up those responsibilities. I wanna know about your lore, specifically
Okay.
in your comedy venture. So where
Yeah.
did you get started with all of that?
The lore runs deep. So, I mean, since I was a kid, like I started performing professionally when I was 6. So I've been in the game for a long time. But I was also the kid who was like staying up after my bedtime to watch Saturday Night Live. Like to be honest, this is like so this is the deep lore. Like I don't have a ton in common with my father, but one thing that we do share is like a love of comedy. And so I found that like if I could do an impersonation or do, like of somebody or like do some lines from the latest Austin Powers, like that would really make them laugh. And so this is as all female comedians and strippers, it all stems from daddy issues. And it's just like we hustle and that's what we do just to feel a connection. No, I mean, that is a true story. And then I was a really shy kid, but I felt like if I could put a uh, sort of like a front on or like a character, uh, it helped me fit in. It helped me, um, in situations where I felt like self-conscious or like wasn't like the other girls in the group, which a lot of times I didn't feel like I fit in with a lot of women.
Jazz is not like other girls, just for everyone listening.
Yeah, I'm a I'm a reformed guy's girl without a doubt. I make no excuses. I make only apologies. But I did sometimes feel like I the way I was able to like get into the girls crew was by being the funny one. And so um I, was on stage performing through all of school. I went to school for theater. I moved to New York like 2 weeks after I graduated. I like moved into the YMCA while I found an apartment because I was like, I need to have a career now. I've been driven to this goal my entire life, which is exhausting. And but luckily kind of it sort of breaks you in all the right ways where I needed to, be told no a lot and get used to hearing no. I had to sort of look around like in my mid 20s I had my little quarter life crisis of like what am I doing? This is all I've ever known and all I've ever done. I don't have hobbies. Like I don't even know what it is I like outside of performing outside of this thing. And so and then if I'm not living life as a well-rounded person, what am I even bringing to the performing that I'm doing? So, I took some time to, like, take a step back. I started doing some directing, some producing. I started really, like, initially it was, like, before ooh, I feel old. Before TikTok, it was like, how can I have the most well-produced YouTube video sketch or comedy music video? And so I would just, like, hire all of my closest friends, to work on a set for the day and just, like, make something really fun and laugh all day making it, and I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite thing." And also made me feel like I had a bit more autonomy as opposed to sort of like, "Let's just wait for somebody to cast me in something," and then they do, and then it's not even that good, you know?
Mhm.
Um I feel, the good thing about sort of the rise of Reels and TikTok and all of that is I do feel like it's empowered a lot of us creators to be like, I can do this myself and I don't need to wait for someone to give me permission. So, the pros and cons are now I do whatever the fuck I want. And the cons are I do whatever the fuck I want, which is a lot of different things that require a lot of time and sometimes a lot of my own money. But I feel like now that's sort of what you have to do to make a name for yourself is sort of take the initiative and write the song or make the jacket or, whatever it is that like gets you out there and in front of people to get your IRL opportunities based on sort of your online content. Um so that's my lore. I just was self-conscious and weird and could quote all of Austin Powers and here I am today.
Which is actually insane for
Mm.
me to think about because when I first met you and when I think of you, you are this, like, respectfully, strong
Yeah.
ass bitch from New York. Like, I will take up space. If you say no, fine, but I'll find another way. Like, so you instilled kind of that in me. So hearing that you came from like this shy background, like, oh, that's like a very interesting piece of background knowledge
Oh, well,
for
that
me.
makes me so happy because and I feel like as we yes, and I remember, like, when we were at our first fest together, I believe was All Your Friends Fest in Canada, you were kinda like I remember, like, me being like, "Let's go. We're gonna go. We're just gonna go stand side stage because I just decided, and if somebody kicks us out, like, whatever." And I remember you being like, can you do that?" And I remember being like, "You know what? And I get it because this is a practice. This is not something that comes easily or naturally to me or most people, I think. Um, it is a practice of like truly walking in the place like you're a white cis male from America. Is like basically what it is. If you can walk in with that confidence, even if it's not 100% real in that moment, people pick up on that. People, if you walk into a space demanding respect, people usually give it to you. And then once you start getting it, you're kind of like, oh, cool, this works. And so now I am confident.
Yeah, and you didn't even do it in a mean, bulldozing way. It was just like, "No, I can take up space here, and you should too, and if someone tells us to leave, then that's fine, but
That's
we
true.
we belong back
Don't go,
here."
yeah, don't go full American man. Like,
Yeah. Then you might be president,
uh,
so be careful.
that's exactly right, and that's a whole mess you don't wanna get into, but It's true. And that is another guiding principle that I try to live by is just doing things with confidence, but always kindness. Always kindness because people remember that. People remember how you made them feel. They remember how you treated them, whether it's now or 10 years ago or and it's and typically, like, it's always easier to sort of I don't say this to be, like, manipulative, but to get what you want out of life, if you could just walk into a space and be like, "I earned this," or "I deserve it," but also, like, "I'm nice to be around," people will typically be like, "Great, thank you for making my life
Mhm.
easier, and now I'm in a position where I wanna help you."
And half the time, they've invited you here.
Yeah.
For at least for me anyway, like, they'll give me all the access, the whatever, and I'm still like, "Guys, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to exist. I'm sorry to be right here, right now." It's, the spikes and the studs are all a front. I'm like a little hedgehog, you know, I'm, like,
But
gooey on the inside.
is that part of the Canadian way as well, the stories about it all? Because that's what we
Yes.
perceive in America for sure.
100%, and I think it's a combination of the Canadian, but also the woman, I
Yep.
think, part of it, like, always should
Mhm.
be apologizing for being where we're at, no matter at what stage, and, just, like, for me anyways, it was learning confidence, and
For
I
sure.
couldn't fake it till I made it, I had to just do it through acceptance. So it was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
this is where I'm at, and
Yeah.
if we can just" or, like, it's just a little bit of pretend. We can just add a little
Yeah.
bit of a layer each time.
That makes sense. I mean, for me, like, I have a theater degree, so maybe it was easier to
Mm.
pretend. I'm really happy to hear though that you are tapping into that. Not that I'm a life coach or anything, but I just think like I think women, we all at different times throughout our lives tap into our deep rooted, like layered into our DNA female rage.
Mhm.
And once you get even a little taste of that, once you can look back over your life and think about all of the things that you apologized for that you shouldn't have, that's where a lot of growth starts to happen, where you start to go, I have no fucks left to give. You can be kind and also take no shit.
Mhm. I think that's an important, distinction as well, and I've definitely learned that as I get older and more into myself, into who I am, and just out of my 20s. I don't know why they say the
Yes.
20s is, like, the best time of your life. It's not. It's
It's
not at
such a
all.
lie. It's such a lie, and I don't know, like, if the people who started saying that were the people who, I don't know, a lot of, like, people in the older generations, like, their kids were already at school when they were in their mid-20s, and so they were like, "Now is our time, and we have a house," and now, like, for those of us today who are in our 30s, I mean, for me, my 20s were full of like where the fuck am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? I'm falling behind. I'm late to the party. I'm not doing enough. Which I think, a lot of overachievers and especially creatives, when there's no roadmap, suddenly you're out of school and you're like, I don't know what the logical next step is, becomes so anxiety inducing. Being in my 30s has, I think, because you look back over your 20s and you go, okay, every time a door slammed in my face, every time I got my heart broken, every time I thought I couldn't do it and then I did, it ended up turning out fine slash even better than I might have pictured it would be. And so you start to have a little more faith, sort of like in yourself and in the universe, where you go, okay, if this is not my door, this is not my door. And there's a really good reason for that.
Mhm.
Or also, like, you have a little more money to spend. You have, sometimes you're making better decisions in terms of like the people you surround yourself with, in terms of the way you're spending your time. You realize how valuable your time is. And so, like, there are a lot of things I did in my 20s where now I'm like, somebody asked me to do something creatively or otherwise, and I'm like, no, like, I can sit home on a Saturday night and play Stardew Valley and be like, I feel good about this choice and not
Oh,
like,
I know.
I'm so lame. I'm so this, I'm not this. Like, you accept yourself and you realize what you bring to the table and you are making really intentional choices about how you wanna spend your life and your time, and it just keeps getting better.
It's the power of saying no. too is like a thing that I've been
Mhm.
learning as I've been getting older, and not no in a mean sense, but like almost like a protect your peace kind of way.
Yeah.
And my
Yes.
relationship with drinking has changed.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
when I drink now, I'm kind of like, oh, for what? Like
I
I
don't
could have
even
had
do it
2 Diet
anymore.
Cokes and called it a day. Like,
Right, right. I'm like, I don't want to feel gross for the rest of the night and tomorrow. And again, it is about, like, respecting yourself and your time more and realizing, like, at this point in my life, I'm surrounding myself with people who, if I don't take this shot, they're not gonna judge me or, like, not be friends with
uh,
me. Like, nobody cares. And that is also fun about being in your 30s. It's like, no one's going out trying to get plastered all the time. It doesn't matter if you get drunk or not, like, nobody's watching, nobody cares. They're
yeah,
just like, "Let's just have a fucking good time." We had a long week of striving, let's just unless it's a night where we're like, "Okay, shit's fucked up. Let's go hard because we wanna get decimated." Typically, that's not the only way to have fun. Now it's like, I can have a great conversation with a friend, or I can have a board game night. This sounds my past self is judging my present self, but it's just the truth. That's how I like to spend my time, and I'm not judging myself for it anymore.
no, absolutely not. What board games are you bringing to your board game night? Catan?
Oh, you know what? I have only been exposed to Catan once. Like, so I feel like I need to find my Catan people because I feel like this is something I could really get into. I am usually, of course, as the comedian, I'm bringing in the games where you have to, like, act stuff out and do funny voices and be silly. So, like,
Got you.
maybe your nightmare, but, like,
No, I mean,
I
I do that in this room all the time for self-tapes, so
you know what? That's true. When when you're creating, you're kind of used to being like, I'm gonna look stupid sometimes, and it's fine." Anything that's, like, performative and silly and, like, challenging in that way, I really like. But I also recently got really into Rummy Cube because my grandma
I don't
taught
even know
me.
what that is.
Oh my god, it's definitely a game for grandmas, but it's also, like, a strategic game. Sometimes I'll do it, like, at the end of a night where or, for example, after I watched the season finale of White Lotus this past season, I was like, "I can't go to bed now. I need to just, like, play a game of Rummy Cube, relax, put on some music, and just, like, get out of my head, get calm, get centered again." It's like games that are meditative too, I like those a lot. What about you? What are you bringing?
That's like opposite sides of the spectrum. It's like super performative, funny voices, and then grandma game.
Yeah, it
I
depends if I'm, like, with a group of people or I'm just, like,
True.
one-on-one needing to settle down.
That's true. I really love Scrabble. I'm a big Scrabble person. We were a Scrabble family, and
Oh,
we would have, like, the little booklet of the 2 and 3-letter words because my brother would like to cheat. So yeah. Yep. So that was a good time. Scrabble's a big one, Catan's a big one. I'm very competitive, though, which is not an attractive trait when it comes to things like that,
it's
but
not attractive. It's like,
I make it unattractive.
you're like, "It depends how it comes out." Like, when I ruin the night when I ruin the evening with my family, yeah, sometimes it's unattractive. I'm a decent sore loser, but I
Mm.
am determined. I am determined.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I just need to get better at losing because I'm not gonna lose and then be like, "Oh, this was fucking stupid," unless it was beer pong for some reason. I just have this
Right.
feral instinct when
You
it
know
comes to
what?
beer pong distilled in me.
It brings us back to more feral time, I think.
It does. I grew up in a small town, so any sort of
Uh-huh.
parties that we had, any sort of bonding moments was like, I'm not gonna
Yep.
go and flirt with guys, but if there's like a game, if there's like an activity for me to do, I'm
Uh-huh.
doing it, and I'm gonna be good at it.
So you were not a big flirt when you were younger?
No, no, not at all, and I had an internet boyfriend basically my entire high school, so I was, like, faithful to this internet boyfriend
Oh,
for so long. Yeah, what about you?
I love that. That's so 2000s, like, and I love that. I, um, again, this is something I'm not proud of, but that I have been willing to, accept about myself as a means of, like, knowing myself and how I wanna live. I was boy crazy out the womb. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah, boy crazy, absolutely, but, like, talking to boys? No. I was like a tomboy, so we were mostly friends, but I
okay.
had Pete Wentz all over my wall. Like, it
Oh,
was
okay, so mine
yeah.
was Travis Barker.
Okay.
Travis
Hair or no
Barker
hair?
was my hair, a
Hair.
mohawk. Yeah,
Mohawk, of course.
mohawk, yeah. Yeah, he was my like, the collage on my laptop screen
Oh,
was
yeah.
Travis Barker, and watching Meet the Barkers was, like, a whole, thing, RIP, but, um so I was obsessed with boys. I was friends with a lot of boys growing up. I found it and I hate this. I hate this because it really it goes both ways. Where growing up, I had mostly boy friends. I was more comfortable. And to be honest, to this day, typically find that I do fit in more comfortably in a group of dudes. This is not a point of pride. This is like it took me a long time to find sort of like where I fit in my femininity. And I am a cis straight woman and I just found it hard sometimes to connect or to feel like accepted by girls who were tapping into that much earlier than I was. So, the thing that sucks about that is you hit a certain age where then boys don't want to be your friend anymore. They just want to touch your boobies. And
Uh-huh.
that was really difficult for me to accept. That made me really sad because then I felt like that's when that's when you start growing up and you realize like, oh, men are awesome, and they are also the enemy, and you have to walk the line between these 2 things where, like, and the people being like, "Men and women can't be just friends," and for a long time, I railed against that, and then all my guy friends started trying to hook up with me, and I was like, "Fuck," and so, I feel like you kinda take a break in that time, and you also, like, it persists through your life. I'm sure you get this where you're like, "Oh, I feel like I'm making a friend." And then a dude makes a pass at you and you're like, "You ruined it. You
It's happened
ruined it."
so much more often now that I'm single, and I
Yes.
fucking hate it. I'm like, "No,
Yep.
just because I am single, I'm not available to
Yeah.
you."
Doesn't mean
It doesn't I'm
correct.
not on the market. I
Yeah.
am living my
Yeah.
life in this new form, and I don't need
Yes.
you in it.
Yes, and it's well, especially once, like, a woman becomes single on the internet, and everyone's like, "Here's my chance to shoot my shot," and it's like, DMs are not open. That's not what this is about. This is about, like, reclamation and all of that, but and which is, I think, what ties in with, uh, you know, being someone who's a creator online. The second you're a woman who's not building a fan base based on, like, your relationship or your family or something, the second you show that you have a partner, it's like, you lose hundreds of followers in a day sometimes just by, like, posting your boyfriend, and so
Mhm.
there's this thing I feel like with a lot of female creators where we feel like we have to just appear like we're not, attached or off the market, as if any of these dudes in our DMs have a shot anyway. I'm like, Is that why is that why you're following me? I don't know. I don't get it." But there's something to be said about hiding your private life as like part of your brand, which is like super weird online.
What gender does your audience skew mostly?
Then which is
Interesting.
really
Okay.
annoying.
It's because 'cause
And
you're
to
hot
be
and
fair,
funny.
like
I'm sorry. You're
yes,
hot and
yes.
funny. You can't be both, Jazz. You can't.
You know what? I have been told this a long time. People just being like, "We just don't know where to put you. We just don't know what to do with you." And I do feel like women, now more than when I was growing up, there are more like female comedians who are embracing being hot, like being like, you don't just have to be quirky and funny. And you don't
Mhm.
have to be hot and funny and you don't have to be hot and funny in a way that is because you're dumb. You can be hot and smart and funny. And not to say that those creators and comedians don't also get bashed by a ton of dudes who don't want to see them that confident. They do. I'm not trying to make this a bash dudes episode because I love men, as I've said, but in a way that
This
Cher
is a
loves
safe
men.
space.
Like,
It's okay.
yeah, yeah. In the way that Cher loves men, like men are dessert. Like,
Mhm.
they're fun, they're yummy, but like I don't need them to live. So, I I do have a mostly male audience, and I have some wonderful supporters who are not creepy. I also have a ton of dudes who come in super creepy, and I want like I try to do everything in my power to cultivate more of a female audience because this is the same girl that's like, "Hey, like I, I can be friends with girls too." That's like part of why that was like part of behind the song that I just put out, this past year, my single, "I Don't Want Your Man," is because there is a lot of, whether it's just innate in us or fueled by the patriarchy or whatever it is, this sort of, like, instinctual competition between women of, like, if she's hot and funny and I'm hot and funny, then we can't be friends because 'cause we're fighting for the same spot or fighting for the same dude or we're fighting for whatever, when, like, there is space for everyone, and so I put out this song called "I Don't Want Your Man" being like, "Can we just be friends? Like, I'm actually not after your boyfriend, and I am not a threat to you whatsoever, I promise." Um, and yeah, I'm still working on that, like how to make my space online more appealing to women. And when I find the answers, I'll let you know. Although I feel like you probably already have it figured out.
I assume it's because I kind of started as fashion type
Yeah.
things and
Yep.
outfits and makeup,
Mhm.
because I love those things to my core. And also, I would like share certain memes or content that like not makes fun of men because, like you said, I don't hate all men, but
Right.
I hate a lot of them.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I think from sharing those kinds of things and sharing my opinions and being kind of open and honest, and when people would flirt with me in the DMs or people would send me hate, like making fun of them publicly, I
Yeah.
think that also unfortunately like generates a little bit of community because we're all making
Hmm.
fun of some dude. That's my
That's
only
true.
assumption as to how it could be. I also try very hard to not be, not that you're doing this, like, sexual in any of my content,
Yeah.
like, I'll do, like, a hot pose or, like, I'll wear
Yes.
something whatever,
Yeah.
but I try to avoid that kind of content as much as I can, because obviously I wanna post a bikini pic, whatever.
Yes.
I'm free to
As
do
you
that,
should,
and
because
as
you're
I
yes,
fucking should, because
but
my body is snatched. But I don't necessarily wanna garner that type of attention. I wish there was, like, a close stories or sorry, a close friends feature on your post where you could be like, "Don't show this to men. I wanna
yeah.
show this to the girls, gays, and the bays. I just want them to hype
Yes.
me up." Like, I don't need the, "Ugh," I don't need that kind of energy.
Mhm. This one's for the girlies. Yeah, and it's hard because I know that I do sort of naturally emit a sexual energy. Like, that is
But
part of
that's
my
great.
brand.
Yeah, there's
That's
nothing
part
wrong
of
with
my
that.
brand for sure. No, and, like, I've embraced that. Like, it doesn't and I'm trying to embrace it in a way that, again, is empowering because I'm a strong woman who embraces her sexuality and talks about sex on my podcast and makes sex jokes or talks about my experiences mostly as a way to feel or to help people feel as though like one um it's not taboo or shameful and also that we are very much connected in our experiences
Uh-huh.
especially because so many of our like, life shaping, personality shaping experiences can come from things that are probably experiences that feel maybe a little isolating or traumatic or embarrassing when really they're the most human thing in the world. And a lot of those things happen to be around like dating and sex and relationships. And so I I like to be open and a bit shameless, and unfortunately, I feel like dudes are into that, but I also feel like you find your tribe, like, I
Absolutely.
the women that I do attract are women that I go so hard for, like you and, like, a lot of my other, friends who have met online who are just, like, unapologetic and badass and just, like, here to fucking own it and make
Yeah.
some art and make some money and yeah, it's what you put out is what you attract, I think is, like, what some people say.
No, I think that's what I love about your brand too, and maybe that's the part of myself that I'm locking away or kind of feeling shameful about. I don't know. It's weird being a human. It's weird being a human online that talks about
Yeah,
life and does
yeah,
stuff. Do you get a
yeah.
lot of hate?
You know what? As of late, I have not, which and to be fair, like, maybe it's because, I'm not, posting anything controversial enough, and so maybe, like, I should be, doing things that hi, Jeff. The
Oh
puppy's
my god,
here.
Jeff. Jeff
Say
Cam.
hi. Hello. Hello.
Oh,
He's
he's
like,
so
"It's
cute.
okay." He's like, "It's okay, mom." He's like, "I hear you're talking about trauma and men. Let me make you feel better." As of late, I have not gotten that much hate. I certainly have in the past, and um, I love putting people on blast. Like I try for the most part not to be petty and to rise above.
I can't
I
relate.
also like
I'm so petty.
it. Yeah, it took. Yeah, I was gonna say I try. I don't succeed. I also, after again, like years of being in the online space, you grow a bit of a thicker skin, There are things that I will tolerate more, and there are things where I can go like, "Thanks for the engagement," like, "Thanks for boosting my shit," and, starting an argument in the comments, but for some reason lately, it's almost been weird. I've sort of been, like, waiting for the other shoe to drop, like, "Why? Where is it? When's it coming?" 'Cause I've gotten it before, and it creeps up when you least expect it in ways that you least expect. You're like, "This is what you're coming at me for?" Like, "What?" Are you typically receiving a lot of hate in the comments, in the DMs?
Not so much in the DMs. Once in a while, like once in a blue moon, someone will email me hate. And I don't
Whoa.
know if I saved it, but someone sent me like a giant paragraph that I did a dramatic reading of on my story when I was going poop.
Wait,
And
this is amazing.
it was just like the most insane thing. I think it was in on a video where I was like saying how you could dress however you wanted, no matter your age. And that pissed some guy off so much that he was like, "I'm not gonna she needs to get this in a fucking email. This needs to go to
Email.
her inbox." And
Wow.
spelling mistakes galore. It was
Of
honestly
course.
quite a joy to read. I'll try to see if I can, find it, and I'll send it to you because it
That's
was a highlight of
amazing.
my internet career for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not pissing people off sometimes, you're not doing it right. Like, I
Exactly.
will say the majority of stuff that I get is usually, like, people trying to buy pictures of my feet,
Mm. Have you
or
ever done
which to
it?
be yes! Come on! I'm like
Yeah.
and again, I have no shame.
Oh, yeah, me
I
neither.
I'm just like, first of all, men have profited off of women being hot for centuries. Now
Mhm.
that women are profiting off of being hot for themselves, I say fucking go for it. My
Buy me a
OnlyFans
pedicure.
girls,
Absolutely.
my Feet Finder girls, go for it. Do it. I have been paid a lot. The girls got to make rent. And again, like
Exactly.
I'm gonna use these feet for good. And I have no
Instead
shame
of for
about it.
evil.
Yeah. Well, it depends what I'm spending that money on. You know what I mean? I don't it could get slightly evil, we don't know. But I've had requests for some interesting stuff. I've had somebody pay me for just a video of me blowing my nose. Like,
Oh,
like
wow.
yeah, and, like, look, I don't yuck
That's
anyone's
a new one. I haven't
yum.
heard that one before.
Yeah, I've had people offer me money to fart on camera and, like, tell them what it smells like, which that was sort of where I drew the line, but
Oh, send them my way, please. That's me
yeah,
in bed doing it for
uh,
free.
I will send that I don't know why I have this block around farting, like, I that is one aspect of comedy that I cannot I've never farted in front of a partner. I've been married, and I've never done it. I don't know where this comes from, this deep-rooted fear, but I'm weird.
I definitely relate in the fact that, like, I didn't fart in front of my ex for probably the first 2 years of our relationship. And
Okay.
then once it happened, I was like, "You know what? I'm letting her rip." Like,
Yeah,
it's
and,
over,
like,
I can't control
I
it. My
think that's
dad does it in
amazing.
public, so I'm like, "You know what? Fuck it."
Yeah, I and look, like, I feel I am not in the right. Like, I love that women typically feel empowered to do this, and for whatever reason, this is my kryptonite. I don't know what it is. And so anybody who wants any other kind of content, like, I'm here for it. I have no shame. I'm also like, we are all kids who grew up dating on the internet. Like, I've sent nudes to boyfriends in the past. Typically, and again, I don't ever put my face in anything, but like at a certain point, you're going to get big enough. People are going to find my nudes somewhere floating around on the internet from years ago. And I'm just kind of at a point in my life where I'm like, well, if Emma Stone can win an Oscar for showing her tits on camera, like, I don't really see the difference. I have perfect tits. Let them out. I don't
There you
care.
go,
I
and that's
really don't
somebody
care.
violating your privacy, because
Yeah.
you sent that to them, that's them digging it up, that's on them. That's not your fault.
If you take ownership of it, you kinda take the power back where you go like, "If this is your biggest threat over me is my own body, like, I'm good. I'll release it. I don't care." Like,
Yeah, my own perfect tits, you're gonna try to use those against me? I'll use them for
let
evil.
yeah, let the people know. But yeah.
Not to derail, but
No,
going back to
please.
social media, what was the
Yeah.
first video of yours to go super viral?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, let me think because in the last year or 2, I've sort of gone viral and grown, uh, way faster than I ever have. And while I had been making videos for a while and doing cool projects and, full production kind of sketches, of course, it's the thing where you're just, like, recording yourself in your bed being stupid, where, like, that changes your life. So, um in terms of this new era of me on the Jazz Zap Eras tour, I made a video where this is just like a game I used to play in the car with my ex, where it would be like, just make up a pop punk song from the early 2000s on the spot. Just improvise one. Because even if you say some super dumb shit, it usually still sounds legit based on the songs from that era. And there's no shame because I am obsessed with them, but which is why I can make them up so well. And I made this silly video in my bed being like, this is what the dude lead singer of every pop punk band from the early 2000s sounded like. And the internet went absolutely batshit, like just crazy. And it launched me into a completely different direction online. I suddenly became like emo girl, pop punk girl, which in a way, like, after I feel like I might have met you after this I went into this niche, but, like, creators like Jess Conrad, who, like, I've known for years, and have collaborated with before this happened, I was like, "I'm a poser." Like, I love all this stuff, but, like, this is, in comparison to you gals who are, like, so legit, I was like, "Is this weird?" But then I was like, "You know what?" Like, the internet tells you what it wants to see sometimes, and I was making people laugh, and so I was like, "All right, let's just," because before that, it was more just, like, millennial nostalgia in general was sort of my vibe. One of my biggest viral videos was, like, again, like, talking about millennials who can't digest milk. Like, it's like it was very that, and so all of a sudden, I got niched into the pop punk space, and I'm getting contacted by festivals to, like, go to their shows and promote and make videos, and for whatever reason, my first offer, I just said, "Yeah, I'll make you a video, but I also want, like, a all access pass to your fest, and I wanna be able to get time with the bands and interview them and, like, meet them and make funny videos with them." And people were just like, "Okay." Like, I just I just asked, and they said yes, which let it be a lesson. Just ask for what you want. And then that, like, became my thing. Like, for a whole year, I was, like, flying to festivals and getting backstage with bands. I have so much unedited footage. It's actually a crime. But I've gotten to, like, meet and interview some of my favorite bands of all time and make friends like you and go to these fests. And see a lot of these bands in concert for the first time because now I can and I couldn't, back then. And so like it's been a really interesting ride into this niche of the internet, this corner. And I'm still trying to sort of let people know like this is like 2% of me. This is like maybe 20% of me, but like I do a lot of other things too. And so like I'm just trying to be like again, the hot Weird Al, the musical comedy girl. I just want to make people laugh while the world burns. And pop punk has been sort of my vehicle into doing it, which is awesome.
And I'm so glad it is because otherwise I don't know if we would have ever crossed paths. I think I followed you
Yeah.
beforehand, but just because I thought you were very funny. But then when you started
Ah,
coming into this space, I was like, "Oh, hell yeah.
hell
Friends.
yeah.
Hell
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
friends." I wanna ask you, have you ever had an
Yeah.
awkward encounter with a band member?
Yes. Um
I can redact any names.
That's fine. Well, it's so funny because I have this story, and it's funny because I think you know the story because you were there.
Oh,
And
yes, I do. Okay, yeah, yeah.
and so like I've really been on the fence about like how public am I going to be about this story because I don't want to throw anyone under the rug, but I also know that like he is already a pain in the ass and people already know this. So like I okay, maybe I'll tell the story without naming names.
Yeah,
Maybe. Okay,
I'll protect you.
great. Okay, I was at the Is for Lovers fest in Tahoe. Tahoe Is for Lovers, which was the fest that sort of went all over the country, brought by Hawthorne Heights. And again, I reached out to them. They had me go out. My friends at Crooked Teeth were playing, and so we were hanging and getting content all day. It was great. There was the headliner. I'll just say that, and then you can look it up if you want. The headliner was there. I saw them sort of in, like, the green room lounge area, and so I didn't have an interview scheduled with them, but I did what I do, which is walk right up and went, "Hey, what's up? I'm doing social media for the festival. I'm a comedian. Do you wanna sit down and do a quick video together if you have time today?" And they were like, "Cool, totally." The lead singer was super nice. He stood up, he shook my hand. He was like, "Absolutely. What's your name? Great. Give us a chance, like, come back closer to our set when we, like, look cool, and we'll do it." I was like, "Amazing." So it was getting closer and closer to their set. I'm, like, waiting in that area that's right outside their dressing room. I wasn't gonna, like, bang down their dressing room door, but I waited for, like, 45 minutes, and then I was like, "They're literally going on stage now," and I had to hit a red eye, so I had to, like and drive back to the Reno airport. So I was like, "You know what? Maybe they were just being nice. You win some, you lose some." This same band is at All Your Friends Fest, where you and I were together doing press, and I do have an interview set up with them that day scheduled. So I was like, "Great, finally get to bring it up, can talk about how we met in Tahoe." The interview starts, and I can already tell the lead singer, he's a sassy boy. He's a sassy boy. He's been around for a while. I'm sure, like, he's over it. Um But here's my thing, is like when I am talking to someone, especially in a professional capacity, no, in any capacity, who's getting a little sassy, I find that if you sass them back with sort of an unapologetic attitude, it kind of brings them back to earth and they go like, okay, they can hang. I'm cool. It's fine.
Mhm.
So that was kind of the vibe that had to be had during this interview. And then midway through, he goes, uh, hey, we need to address the elephant in the room. You know, we met in Tahoe and you said you wanted to interview us. And then I saw you leaving the fest before you interviewed us. And I was like, what a bitch. And I was like, and I'm on camera right now, like right now on camera, just being like, hey, that's true. However, like I waited outside your dressing room for an hour. I had to catch a flight. And that's why I followed you to another country to get this interview now. He's like, "Oh, you should have just knocked on our door, blah, blah, blah." He starts, like, shitting on the festival we're at, like, talking about how lame the festival is. I was like, "I get it, dude. It must be hard being a band that's so old." and, like, still wanted at these things. Like, you must be ready for a nap. Like, and, like, again, of course, like, then they settle and they're just like, okay, I get it. I'm being an ass." But, like, I was like, "My dude, as someone in the spotlight who's on camera right now, who's calling your female interviewer a bitch, like, you're walking a thin line of I don't give a fuck." And I've sat on that footage for a long time because I'm like, I could totally go viral with this footage right now. Am I going to
1000%.
yeah. Am I gonna make a bunch of enemies and be known as, like, the gotcha girl, and then, like, never get invited to talk to bands again? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna put this out there for my own gain. That's not my brand is not gotcha. My brand is not ruin somebody. However, if unless the offense is ruinable, is, like, worth being ruined, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? If it was worse, if it was something if it was something that deserved to be outed, trust me, I would seek justice. But in this case, I was like, You're just an idiot. You're just an idiot, dude." And I very soon after started working with the same PR company as they are. So I was like, I don't know that my PR agent wants to clean up the PR for this band because I showed this unflattering clip on the internet. So I will say, like, for that to be as bad as it's been, I find myself like luck not lucky, it should be good, but also like it's made me feel really nice about the scene. Whereas like this scene sure did have a toxic era without a doubt. Like, but every experience I've had so far, of like a little bit of fear of like, don't meet your heroes. Everyone has typically been so kind, so nice. Um, Also, like again, and the creators in this niche as well, like so fun, so kind, just have loved everyone. And so I do feel lucky that I haven't had anything too awkward happen. Something that happened that makes me wanna crawl under my bed and die is that, like, the first, fest I did this at, I had, like, a beautiful, like, 10-minute interview with Chris Carrabba from Dashboard where he's, like, dropping the most,
Gem.
like he is a gem of gems. I can't say I know I must, like people are probably sick of me saying it, but I can't say enough what a kind, genuine human he is. And had this beautiful interview with him where he's just dropping, like, the most beautiful, lovely, uh, little nuggets of truth, and the audio sucks so bad, so bad.
No.
The audio quality's so bad, and the lighting we were in his tour bus filming, and, like, it's just, like, overhead lighting that is, like, so it looks terrible, and I'm like, "God damn it." Like, those are the heartbreaking moments where you're just like, "I fucking had gold and it just slipped right through my fingers," but it's okay. He is now, like, a friend who I see at festivals and, that he's at, and, the drummer of Dashboard, Chris Camarada, has me come out and DJ emo social events with him, and it's as I'm sure you can attest, like, it's kind of a surreal, cool thing when you're suddenly, like, working aside the people that you grew up listening to and loving.
100%. And it's trying to keep everything concise and interesting, because like, I don't wanna ask these people the same things that they've been asked for the
Yeah.
last 20 years, you know? Like, I kinda wanna
Yes.
dig into deeper topics if I can, depends on what they're comfortable
Yes.
sharing, or
Yes.
kind of, like, tap into their interests and, like, their way of doing things as opposed to maybe how they did it back then, or just something a little different so that it's interesting for them and interesting to the people who
Mhm.
are consuming the content as well.
That's really such a key part of it because, again, not only the questions they've been asked over the years, but they're doing press all day. Like,
Mhm.
they're so sick of it. And so I think you and I are both really good at doing that, finding the questions that kind of light them up and get them engaged in the conversation. I feel like we do it in different ways where you are really good about like deep diving the lore and like pulling out facts that they're like, how do you know that? How did you find that? And I'll be like, when's the last time you shit your pants? And then they're like, okay, we're in the conversation, I guess, like but,
Just
like, it just
balls
kind of
deep.
well, you can't coast in that conversation, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you have to, like, suddenly be like, "Okay, I am thinking now, I'm on my toes." I love asking people, like, "What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on tour or on stage?" And because, again, like, these are stories that are fun to tell, and, um, and there are some good ones out there, some really good ones.
Going back to more of your stuff, you have a share show.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
tell us
it's
about
just
your share show.
okay. I produced for the first time my own show. I did it here in New York at 54 Below, which is like a basically like a concert venue where typically a lot of Broadway performers will uh perform, and basically sort of along this line of like not always feeling super accepted by the girly pops. When I started doing comedy in New York, I was really kind of excited for more of an energy of like, yeah, girls sticking together in comedy in this male dominated area, whatever. And once again, I was sorely disappointed, and it was just more. And I get it, like it's more competitive because it's so male dominated, and so I don't know what it is about me, but I feel like girls don't like me, and I try so hard. I mean, I
I
know you
like
like
you.
me, but and you know what? I shouldn't say that. I now as an adult woman, I have some like I have friends, girlfriends who are like my ride or die, who love me, who have been there for me. I'm very, very lucky with the women that I have around me. Um, but I think generally I get what I have been told is like, "Oh, I just thought you were gonna be a huge bitch before I met you," and
I
you
get
know,
that
and
too.
then
Yeah,
yeah, and then
it's
they meet me and they're like,
intimidation.
"Oh, right," and I'm like, I just want to be your friend." So anyway, there are a lot of, like, cliquey female comedians in the city, and I've not been, welcomed into the cliques, I guess, and so I was like, "I wanna do a show like the Cher show back in the day, where Cher would have her variety show and she would bring on Dolly Parton, bring on, you know, all of these other female artists to sing with her, to make people laugh, to share the stage. And so mine was Cher with an SH. And that's what I did. I gathered some of my favorite female musical comedians from the city, and we put on a show, and it was hilarious, and these women are so talented and fun, and I wrote a bunch of original songs for it. What I'm currently sort of going viral for right now, which is my "If Disney Princesses Were Honest" songs.
Uh-huh.
Because again, like 90s kid growing up on Disney, but also having like a warped sense of humor. This is like my favorite thing. Parody is just my heart and soul. And so I wrote a 7-minute Disney princess medley that I was originally writing for one of my friends. She's playing Princess Jasmine in Aladdin on Broadway right now. And so I
Oh,
originally
sick.
wrote it for her to be like, you can do a funny Disney princess song. And she read it and she went, I can't sing this. Disney will fire me if I sing this. And I was like, you know what? This is actually works out for the best because I wrote this funny fucking song and I'm going to sing it.
Hell yeah.
Um, and it's gotten such good feedback that I'm kind of thinking I might now create like a fucked up Disney princess show and tour it and just do like parody songs for all the Disney princesses, and because again it appeals to the comedy and it appeals to the nostalgia that I think has such a pull on all of us and all of the internet, and producing is really hard, and I am excited to get to a place like all of us, I think, where we don't have to be the writer, director, producer, star all the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, but that being said, it is a gift and a privilege to be able to have control over the work that you're putting out. And so um, it's scary and empowering at the same time.
Do you think being an actor makes you a better director or vice versa?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. And I love directing so much. It's so much fun. And I think once you are an actor who's gone to the other side of the camera, I think it's really hard to solely go back. I don't think
Mhm.
you ever stop wanting to do that. And so I have directed music videos for myself and for other artists. I've directed pilots, and um getting to think up a story or using your imagination to think up, what this is going to look like and feel like and sound like, and then getting to work with a creative team who brings it to life is like it's like giving birth. I say that as a woman who's never given birth, but it's the closest thing too, like to have your idea suddenly come to life is is the most fun and miraculous thing ever.
Well, you also do, like, pop punk song parodies. Would
Yes.
you ever consider doing, like, a Weird Al pop punk Warped Tour concert situation, or
Honestly, that's a great idea. My thing is, as a very creative, ADHD baddie, I have a million wonderful ideas that I'm executing all at the same time, and then I'm like, "Am
Mhm.
I ever getting anything fully done? I don't know." And so, like, right now I'm working in tandem with Emo Night Brooklyn on weekly content. I'm working on my own content. I'm working on my podcast that I produce weekly, which, as you know, producing your own podcast is so much work and so much time. And it's a lot of work and it's a long game. And so, um, in the midst of like auditioning and being an actor and trying to get an agent and trying to become a goddamn star already, which my moment is coming. It's so much, but I am trying to balance all of the things, keep all of the plates spinning, and also sort of like cater to the people who support me, which I know now is a lot of people who are in this pop punk world. And so I actually have, and again, this is more embarrassing of that. I was in the studio when I made my when I recorded I Don't Want Your Man with my producers. I made 2 parodies. I wrote and recorded a parody to Misery Business and to, Sugar We're Going Down, and they're just sitting, and I just need to make a video for them, and
do.
I
You
really
do,
do.
I need to see it.
Yeah, and they're funny, and so, um, yeah, it's just, like, plotting out the next steps, staying organized, staying on top of your shit, and, those thank you for reminding me, those will come out soon.
Well, they have to now. You've spoken them
Yeah.
into the ether,
That's
so they
right.
must come out.
Holding myself accountable.
What are your dream collabs? I know you said SNL. Is that, like,
Yeah.
the kind of end game for you? Not end
It's
game, but,
so f
like, big
but
dream?
yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, as a kid growing up on SNL, and in one way it's annoying because, like, SNL is not the only mountaintop out there. Like, what I like to if I'm not a writer or a performer on SNL, I fully intend to be a host at some point. Um,
Mhm.
I know that I will be in Studio 8H and I will be on the stage. This is something I know in my guts my whole life. And somebody can bring up this podcast when it happens. I mean, post
I'm
that
gonna make,
clip.
like, a clip, like a fan edit of you, and this is gonna your audio is gonna be
Keep it for the
yeah.
archives. And, but, like, in my dream of dreams, it's like, I wanna have, like, a Judd Apatow crew. I wanna be in a crew that we are making good shit together, that we are making movies, making series, making, the next Netflix show. I'm so inspired by shows like Portlandia where they were just like, we're gonna sketch, we're gonna do sketches, we're gonna do characters, we're gonna put it together. It's gonna be so weird and funky, but it's gonna be so fun. Um, I just love comedy so much and I love performing and I love telling stories. And so it really becomes a point of like having the resources to do all of the things that you want to do. And getting it in front of the right people to help you. And so I have so much in my back pocket. I'm just ready to do it all. Like Tina Fey is my hero, like it's what she's done. She's made her movie, she's done TV, she did SNL. I have a musical in me too, a comedy musical, like, Marlon Mandel, who is the creator of Titanic and Big Gay Jamboree. Like Titanic is now like a global sensation, and it's literally a parody musical of Titanic, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen, and I look at that and I go, like, "This is incredible, and also I know I can do this." And it's just a matter of, like, doing it and surrounding yourself with a good team, and so and then, figure out a situation where I can have you doing aerial silks and whatever I'm doing, you know?
Oh my god, I swear I can be funny too. I do have my moments.
I know you're funny, and you're also very talented, and you also have, you know, you're doing all of your amazing VO, you are also somebody who's so multifaceted
Multi-fascinated and
and
multifaceted, yeah.
multifaceted, yeah. I mean, because you have so many irons in the fire, so you get it.
I just need fucking one of them to pop off. Just one to, like, fund all of the rest of them, and then we have it. And I know I feel the same thing. It's like it's not in a sense of, like, "I'm gonna fucking do this." It's like you feel it in your guts, like, "No, like, I've
Yes.
put in the work.
Yeah.
I feel I'm not this passionate about anything else." And it's
Yep.
just like it's like a kindling just, like,
It's a
inside of you, and
knowing.
it yeah.
It's an
And
inner
I feel
knowing,
like
and
it's
you're
gonna
right.
happen.
It's not about being conceited, it's about, like,
Mhm.
why anyone is driven to do anything. Like, you just have an inner knowing that this is what you're put on this planet to do, and it's a long game, but I truly think if you never stop and you are good at what you do, like, your time is coming. It's you all of these years, you are planting seeds, and
Mhm.
at certain points, you never know, like, when something is going to be it, which or your big break, and really, I think of it like, people are like, "Oh, you get your big break," and for me, like, getting a big break means, like, getting to take a fucking break, like, making making all of these things that I do slightly easier because I will have more people helping me to do them.
Yeah, you can
Um,
delegate.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and, like, it's so much work. It's so much work to be a creator now. It's not like you get to just be an actor anymore. But maybe at some point, like, I'll get to have a day where that's all I have to focus on, or all I have to focus on to write is writing this song, and I don't have to focus on 4 jobs and 8 careers at the same time.
And then, oh, yeah, I said you guess you don't have hobbies, but yeah, I think about the people that don't even have passions. Like, where do you get your passion for life? I mean, that's the only thing that's keeping me hanging on.
It was hard for me to date in New York for like a while because I was just like, you're a beautiful man and you have a good job, but you're so normal. Like you come home from work and you just like watch sports? Like, what do you mean? Like, where you don't have like this life or death fire under your butt driving you to do and granted, some days I'm jealous of those people, but I also just
100%.
I cannot relate. You need people around you who get it. You need a partner who can keep up and also like is doing because they're doing their own stuff. Now it's like I'm up until 3 in the morning finishing my podcast edits and he's in the other room doing his self tapes and also running lines and doing, and singing my partner is extraordinarily talented. That's another thing is, like, you can't be with somebody who's not also really good at what they do because it just doesn't work. And so it's like, it's hard, we're not limiting ourselves or stifling our goals, and so we can't it's the same with our personal lives. We hold ourselves to a very high standard and the people around us.
I gotta meet that level. Do you have anything that you would like to promote to the audience
Sure.
before we wrap up?
Yeah. Please follow me on all the platforms. I'm at Jazz JAZ_Zap ZAPP. Just trying to make you laugh on every single place on the internet. And if you love comedy and you love movies from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, go ahead and listen to my podcast, Millennial Movie Club. It is nostalgia. It is ridiculous laughter, and you learn more about me than you probably ever wanted to know. So, you can stream that anywhere you get your podcast, and we also do full video on YouTube.
Amazing. Jazz, a pleasure as always. I hope to see you soon. We have an emo wives video coming out soon.
Yes, we do, because
Hell yeah.
season 2 is hitting, and so are we.
Hell yeah. I cannot fucking wait. All right. Thanks,
Yay,
babe.
thanks, bye.